the Grey Hat Beard podcast.
Hello and welcome to show 50 of Grey Hat Beard, the modern workplace podcast where we talk about all things Microsoft 365. I'm the Grey of Grey Hat Beard. My name's Kevin McDonnell. I'm the head of practice for modern workplace at CPS and Office Apps and Services MVP.
My name's Al Eardley. I'm the Hat of Grey Hat Beard and I'm a technical architect at the Microsoft Technology Centre.
Hi everyone, I'm the Beard of Grey Hat Beard. My name is Gary Trinder. I'm a modern work consultant at Microsoft and a PMP team member.
And those of you who are watching video may notice we have another face here and you're thinking, oh, fantastic, we've got a guest. But you would be wrong because we are going to shortly be called Grey Hat Beard and Princess. Louise, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. So, hi, my name is Luise. I'm the princess. I'm an M365 consultant and developer and Microsoft MVP, and I'm happy to join the show.
And we've been thinking about doing this for a while. I had a chat with Louise way back at the South Coast Summit, but with the organizational skills I have, it's taking us a little while to kind of get this going and moving. So we are finally there, and we've brought Louise into the fold, and we're going to be rebranding and adding Louise into there as the princess on there as well. So very, very excited about this. It's fair to say. I think, Louise, is this your first podcast? I know we were talking about doing one at some point, but is this your first podcast as a host, or?
Yes, it is. It's my first podcast as a host. But
even more exciting. So, we'll be putting us all to shame with your chat and ability to connect as well.
So I'm the rookie in this round, and I'm pretty happy to learn.
that would mean we're experts, and come on.
I was going to say, there's not much to learn if you've listened to us. We haven't learned anything. All we do is chat.
Exactly.
Well, that's already great.
I think Al, you summed it up nicely. The point of this is the chat you have after user groups when you're in the pub afterwards. So that is the aim we go for. And I've heard a few people say to us, I love it. You can have Grey Hat Beard on the background. It just fades into the background nicely, which we take as a compliment, strangely. But hopefully we can bring some excitement to you as well. So let's get into the news. And I think, Gary, you picked up the first news article, something we shared around, went, whoa, really?
Yeah, it was, I guess this is kind of rumour mill, if you like, in full effect, was to see that HoloLens 3 was, apparently it's rumoured to have been cancelled. And there's actually two articles. There was another one that followed a couple of days afterwards, actually, where Microsoft said, no, it's not the case. It's still there. It's not being cancelled or anything, but it's kind of set the sights back on.
Was the 3 actually announced? I don't think it's been formally said that it's definitely coming, but I think most people assumed there was a new one coming, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think the article
it's been rumoured, hasn't it? It's been in the pipeline. It's taken a long time to get to the 2, let alone to get to 3.
Yeah, I think it's the Microsoft are doing hardware, and whether continuing to do the hardware, whether it will be a fully developed, Microsoft piece of kit, or there's been mention in the article about Samsung getting involved as well. But it's quite interesting to see HoloLens kind of have this focus when obviously we were not so long about talking about Meta and the new way of working, and HoloLens being a part of that as well. So there's plenty of rumors abound. Draw your own conclusions from it. But one thing which was interesting in the article was, where is HoloLens positioned? What is its market? Is it a personal device? Is it a work device? We've talked about this in the past about military contracts as well, with HoloLens being signed. Yet you don't see HoloLens obviously talked around the same kind of conversations like you would with Oculus and Quest and all those other devices that are out there more consumer focused. So it is interesting to see where is HoloLens and where's it going to go?
I think it's where it is now. It's definitely not a personal device. It's definitely not pitched towards that. There's no kind of games or anything like that in the way that Oculus and others have it. But then it hasn't massively taken off within sort of the commercial market either. So it's kind of, do they repitch it now, or is it too late and maybe they're just going for a new brand rather than anything else?
The Surface
They could
HoloLens.
rename it.
There we go.
Surface HoloLens.
Microsoft doesn't rename. Yeah, they never rename anything.
With that nice
they would
Surface
never do
Grey.
That's a good one.
See, yeah, I can do product design. just rename it and change the color. Done.
Gary announcing his second career now.
Yeah, he's changing
Pink
roles.
HoloLens. Ooh, there we go.
Maybe
like
maybe that's it. Customizable HoloLens, right? That's the future.
Yeah.
We'd have to see how much they charge for it. I think that's because that's
That's
been the
true.
big challenge that they've got, is their price point is a little bit high.
Yeah, I think talking about HoloLens as a piece of kit, it's not just the augmented reality that it actually does, and mixed reality. There's a lot of work gone into it around hitting compliance for different industries as well. So using them in environments where clean rooms and things like that, it's certified to a particular point. So to Kev's point about it not being a personal device, and it's definitely marketed at business. I think it's the could it be maturity again? It's the
I think
killer
the other
apps,
thing is it does have a lot of technology built into it. You're not using additional elements, you're just using your hands, which is quite an experience. I mean, I have quite a few clients trying it out. It's an experience that most of them don't actually walk away from going, oh well, that was a bit dull. They're all like, well, that was really, really interesting.
They are mind blown.
Yeah, absolutely.
And still, it's not the cheapest device ever. Of course
No.
not.
And I think that's the balance to strike, isn't it? As soon as Mesh lands in Teams, it'll be interesting to see what devices people start to use to really get the most out of that, and to see how that impacts the HoloLens and where the HoloLens is pitched.
But I think as someone who spends most of his day in meetings on Teams, I cannot imagine wearing a HoloLens all day. There's just no way. My neck would be bulging like this within a few weeks with sort of the weight of that. So I think having a lighter weight device is definitely something they need to get from there.
And I think that's it, isn't it? If you just have a device on all day and it's just to give you that virtual reality, then why do you need the LiDAR in your hands? You could just have it as a blackout and a virtual reality. And I think that's it. It's really understanding what the use cases are.
Plus, you don't need to necessarily see it anymore, just like behind your desk. You can just so you're free to move.
Yeah, you can just lie back and
still
be lying down, horizontal, and still appear to be walking around.
Are you lying down again, Kev? No, definitely sit up.
No.
It doesn't.
I'm sure I heard
like
you snoring there, Kev.
Yeah. It was the cat. It's definitely the cat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the cat purring. That was not me snoring at all.
Well, I have to say, I'd be very surprised if Microsoft completely cuts out this as a thing. It just seems such a figurehead for their mixed reality and world of things. And I know it's kind of been an enabler to do what they've done, but I can't see them going yet. It would be quite a backtrack for them.
I certainly hope not, because I think the hardware it is a good piece of hardware. You think back to Windows Phone, which was a love-hate thing, but some of those devices were really nice. You think about Microsoft Band, that was a great piece of kit.
Yeah.
But I hope they carry on and they don't give up too early.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen some of the comments off the back of this article as well, and it's kind of like the devices that you mentioned about maybe Microsoft being ahead of the curve with some devices and then dropping it early. And I think HoloLens is could be one of those if this is the way that it goes, in that, it is a fantastic piece of kit, and if you had the opportunity to use it and for its use cases for business, for like training purposes through guides, and then you've got remote assist as well. The remote assistance is great. You combine that with Teams, and you start to fill in the gaps of where it can really position itself. But I think that's it, isn't it? It's a great piece of kit, but where is the killer application of that kit that will make people go, yeah, I really need to invest in that piece of hardware. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this story continues.
If they do cancel it and they want to find a house for all those HoloLens 2 sitting around, I'll certainly take a couple of those. I'll grab one of those. Yeah, exactly. There we go.
HoloLens
3
is for
takers.
everyone.
I know, Al, you've got 10 sitting behind you anyway. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
So moving on to the next bit of news, and this one was around Microsoft Viva. Now, I know some of us sat here may debate whether it's actually news or not, but Microsoft Viva recently had its 1 year anniversary. It's now 1 year old, and I have to admit, this kind of crept up on me. It felt like it was a lot longer to me, and it's been around there. I've spent quite a lot of time looking at Viva, talking to clients about Viva, implementing solutions with it. So it's felt very current to me, and looking back, and that's what has been delivered within that year. I mean, I don't know what the rest of you think, but it feels to me like it's been around a lot longer than that.
I think we said this when we were reviewing last year, didn't we? At the end of the year, it was like, doesn't feel like it's that young, because we're talking about it all the time. I think they've got some branding now. They've got some icons for it. We see the backgrounds all the time if you're on Teams calls. So it does seem to have permeated through a lot of our conversations and really embedded itself into a lot of our conversations. Question's probably how much people are actually using it on a day-to-day, and how much of it is a novelty.
It's good scrolling through this and seeing that you've sent more than 9 million praises have gone through, and 1 million plus topics generated, and 48 million focus hours per month. So there's some pretty decent numbers coming through from that. How many of those are live and how many of those are demos? I don't know. I couldn't possibly say, but it's probably higher than you think. I have to be honest. I feel that Viva's within the year has kind of gone. I thought it would collapse or be absolutely massive, and it's kind of sat there. It's still around. I don't think it's gained as much traction. It hasn't jumped ahead in the traction necessarily in all places, but in some ways it's only a few months old, because it only went general availability was it October, November when Ignite was. So so we could argue it's younger. They'd be slightly pushing it slightly.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's the consultants in us that seeing the transition into Viva from the previous product names, if you like. So connections, and we look at Teams app, bits of updates to SharePoint. Okay, get it. It doesn't fit. It's not that big. Oh, there's a new product. It's an evolution, if you like, of these different pieces that we've been using prior to Viva. So the analytics, we're using that as workplace analytics, right? And then you've got Viva, and it's similar. But the little things that are added, like the Viva Daily Digest, those little things that get added where you don't. It's kind of crept up on us, unless you're going into like topics and learning, which are bigger, I guess.
Changes.
Bigger changes and more noticeable. But it feels like it's crept up on us silently. And all this stuff is Viva without you seeing Viva every day, right? Because you go into Teams and you don't have Viva in your face.
I feel like Viva, so it aggregates what we already had and just like put some nice branding on it. And of course, we're now more aware that this is called now Viva. And yes, Microsoft managed to rebrand this product suite within a year.
Not rename.
No, rebrand. So we got new icons. So I can't even. But I feel like so. So it's getting more and more important, at least for my customers. I don't know if this is just like the experience for everyone, but it's getting more important. But it's not what they ask for in the first place. So it's not like, hey, we need Viva, and can you help us with implementing this? This is not their first question, but it's just like, so with progressing maturity, they realize that they need something, so that they need to blend learning and working, for instance, or that they need to make sure that not everyone is just like burned out by too many meetings in too many channels, too many chats, but that everyone can at least focus for 2 hours a day, period. And Viva helps with that. So what I find, of course, a little bit sad, so there is an extensibility story only around connections. I would love to see more. I would love to be able to address all these gaps that still exist, and where organizations think, hey, we would just like tie this into this process, or we would like to enable something that does not work out of the box, but I'm pretty sure we're getting there.
Yeah, and it's on the roadmap. It's meant to be coming and things like that. But
coming soon.
Soon is a term just like, this is just like me saying something like, but tomorrow I will eat healthy. So tomorrow is just like a pretty undefined state, because so you never know what means tomorrow. So it's not necessarily the next day. It's one of the next days.
Yeah, and I'd say some of the topics ones, certainly some of those things that say they should have been delivered in the roadmap and they were meant to have been delivered at the end of last year, still seem slightly conspicuous in their absence and seem to keep slipping out a little bit, which is
I think this is where, you're right, Luise, that actually it wasn't things that were asked for. So therefore, some of it, like the analytics, was already in play. It was already starting to get established. But other things like learning was, well, okay, this is going to make our lives easier. We're consolidating into teams. Yeah. We're bringing everything more into teams without having people leave. Yeah. So therefore, there's always that, well, actually, we need to do some marketing to see what's actually of interest and actually going to work and what's going to work out of the box, as opposed to with those levels of configuration and customization that are going to allow us to tailor it to each client.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I'm with you.
I think the one success I'd say is that I do think the brand has landed very nicely. Lots of people know about Viva and they seem to understand what it's trying to target towards. So it has nicely consolidated a lot of things into one. And from a marketing perspective, it's been good.
I think fundamentally the brand is easier to talk to people outside of IT.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really important aspect, is that it has opened up a vast number of conversations outside of IT, so that we can explore other requirements and other needs.
Yeah, I mean, before Viva, were we talking about employee experience as much? I would say probably not. Viva has brought that to everyone's attention. Obviously, in some ways, that's been speeded up quite a bit due to the situation that we've found ourselves in. But come back to Luise's point about people not burning out, and you have to help provide things for companies that maybe aren't doing that, right? And I think Viva does provide a tool set, and we through insights and focus time, even helping people just manage their daily work, like that digest email. When I first saw that, I thought, I'm probably not gonna need it. The amount of times where I scanned through and didn't pick that out and ding straight into to do, and that's it. That's that employee experience thing that is getting away from talking about technology and can this technology enable me to do X, and they've already got customers maybe have a predefined idea of, they've already come up with a solution in their minds, rather than going, no, let's look at the outcomes of where you want to get to, and then hope the technology will come along. So the whole employee experience, productivity, well-being, whatever you like. I think Viva's done a good job of highlighting that. If anything, I think that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, totally agree on that, Gary. And the thing is, before we had Viva, it appeared to a lot of people in the workplace that, well, me being unproductive and I need to take just like more breaks and I'm stuck in meetings where I can't add any value and I'm not learning anything and I don't feel really good. And then COVID hit us and so the world is still crazy. And it felt like this is an individual problem. And it's not, this is an organizational problem. And now we're addressing this to the organization and not just like to every single user and tell them, hey, you're just like coding it wrong. And this is the massive change that I love to see, because this is making people aware that it's not their fault. But if we need to, if we want to make a serious impact, that we need to change the system and not needing to try to change the people working in a system.
Yeah,
and this is just like a fundamental change, and this is why I love to see this.
I think we should remember that Viva's complemented very nicely with WorkLab as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, I realised the other week that I hadn't looked at that for a while, and there's a whole load of other great articles on this. So I must put that in the show notes. I'm sure if you're listening to Great Hat Beard and have ever listened to it before, you must have looked at WorkLab, because we do mention it occasionally.
Yeah.
It's great. It's brilliant. It's the short answer. Next bit of news, and I think it was Luise who wanted to cover this one, and that is the joy of the ALM Accelerator for Power Platform.
Yeah, so ALM for Power Platform Accelerator. This is a great attempt to build more sustainable solutions inside the organization with Power Platform, and rather than developing in a production environment, just like setting up different environments for developing, testing, production, and even more, and moving them, of course, not manually, but in a more automated way with the Center of Excellence and GitHub, also enabling source control also for makers. And this just like levels up the entire thing, because if you just like, I know, export your apps or your solutions manually and then just like send files and then tell other people, yeah, but well, you need to change the color of that button. This is not working, and regardless how much code is involved. And I really like this, and I hope that a lot of organizations will jump on that and will see this this as one of the parts that they need to implement if they want to be successful with Power Platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail when you said it's about making it easy to do the right thing with it. It's making it easy to cover your code, to do that source control and things like that, which are not simple topics. I know the PMP have the sharing is caring initiatives to talk about what is a pull request, what is branching, all the good things there going on with it. But it's fairly complex topics. I've been talking with a few colleagues and trying to kind of get them along the journey of checking in all their scripts and things like that. We've fallen off slightly. Two of my co-hosts maybe go, what? But yes, there are certain times that not everyone has been kind of kept along with that, and because it's not simple, but by putting things in there, people realize the challenges of kind of deploying solutions to environments that it should be done, but it shouldn't really be hard, and anything that makes it easier is fantastic.
Well, so yes, I'm part of PNP and I help people getting started with Git and GitHub, and of course so a year ago I had no idea what that was, and was like, why would I use this? And now it feels just like very natural, and I can just like highly recommend for everyone to start using source control. Regardless what you do, you can start with text files, you can start with MD files. It does not really matter what you track. So it does not need to be an entire application, but that you can see that you can work together with others on the same files and just like track everything. And this gives you just like an added security, and it's just like totally awesome to do this. And I don't know. I need perhaps 5 or 6 or 7 Git commands in my entire week, and it's not even more. And this is. I mean, am I holding this wrong? So
no, it's just Git.
it's just I add, I commit, I push, I pull. Sometimes a stationary base, but that's basically it. And I do not need a lot more. And I think everyone can learn this. And to enable this with Power Platform is just like it was mandatory. It was totally overdue. This entire thing of but you need to first pack this solution that you have, and then you need to have an awkward tool to unpack this, and then you get the YAML files, but then you can change these, and then you need to pack these again and import that.
And then you suddenly find something didn't work.
So this does not fly with me. So, and now we have just like integrated version control. So this is an experimental feature, but you can have your VS Code on the left screen and the Power App Studio on the right screen. And you can constantly push and pull so that you can see your changes without packing and unpacking your solution. And this is really, really great. And I can highly recommend everyone to try this out.
Definitely. I think what's nice about this solution is it is bringing it into an easy interface for people who aren't necessarily so familiar and aren't necessarily actually the developers of those solutions. So for a Power Platform admin to actually be able to have that overview, I think that's an incredibly powerful way for them to look at it and go, I can see all of these, I can commit, I can deploy a solution, I have the control that I need as an administrator, as opposed to having to go in as a developer into all of those solutions and work in that way. So I think that's a really good step forward in this part of the CoE, because this is part of the center of excellence that if you don't have it, then why the hell not?
So you should really start with the center of excellence, so everyone. But still, I think so. Yes, it's making it easier for people who are not just like deep dive into it. And still, I think that the whole Power Platform needs more DevOps experience and more DevOps knowledge, and that we can't just like leave that out because we're like, but we do not need devs anymore because everyone can make an app. Yeah, maybe, but does not. So for us, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So first thing.
You've been doing a few sessions on Fusion Dev, haven't you? With
I did.
Yannick at Conversation, which I'm really hoping to catch at some point.
We will be doing this in Bletchley.
Fantastic. We'll talk about Bletchley a little bit later, so we'll definitely cover that. I think that notion of Fusion Dev, as you say, that you've got developers coming in, you've got people who've come in from a kind of power user perspective. Al, as you said, you've got those ops people come in. This is the world of DevOps. Everyone comes together and works together in the same ways.
What?
Yeah. One team, one dream, or one nightmare, I guess, but generally one dream. So. Cool. So, but I think that's really interesting, really, really good to see. And I'll add to the show notes things like the Power Platform CoE that we mentioned there and the Sharing is Caring initiatives as well.
One of the things, just on that is we've been talking about this for a while, and we're still wanting to get there. Is organisations have been looking at the Power Platform, and in some cases been put off because it's not seen as enterprise ready. And these are the things that have put people off. There's not been robust controls around source control, deployments, testing. Even this, it's a great step forward. There's still room to grow in that area. I think one of the interesting things in here is that I think at the moment it's based on Azure DevOps, but there is GitHub Actions as well. So now GitHub Actions is the Power Platform is really picking up pace alongside the Power Platform CLI as well. So it's starting to get momentum now, and I think this brings the focus on best practices, why you should be doing that, but it's starting to definitely mature. What Louise mentioned about the integration with Git through the Maker Studio, that is a key massive issue that is trying to be solved, where one developer per Power App, right? And now this opens up for co-authoring to sync commits. So if you're coming to Power Platform with maybe a code approach of, oh, we'll just get more developers and put them in, and they just can develop more. It's like, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. So, again, I see this, and you can just think of other problems that are issues that we've come across in the past, and now they're starting to be, remedied in a way. But yeah, no, I love all this. I'm very happy that this is coming.
The reason I was shaking my head a couple of minutes ago was, Gary, I can't believe you managed to get CLI into there. Sneaked it in. I know it's Power Platform CLI, but you still had to talk about a CLI somewhere, didn't you?
Well, I can even one up this. So I would love to see more CLI for Microsoft 365. This is an ad. Commands for Power Apps and Power Automate, because that is platform agnostic, while the Power Platform CLI is Windows only. This is maybe an issue for some people who do not want to work on Windows. Maybe.
I presume there's APIs available for it. It just needs someone who wants to get involved in open source to raise an issue and start working on it, I presume.
Yep. Put the issues in there. We will definitely take a look. We've already got Power Platform commands in there. We'll definitely be adding more, and I'm sure people, if they see value in those, then suggestions are welcome. We're plenty of people who will no doubt be happy to help.
And you will learn Git quite quickly when you do it.
Yeah,
totally.
And I was
the best way to learn about Git and GitHub is choose one open source project that you would like to contribute to, and does not matter.
Or have a Git cheat sheet as your mouse mat. That is the answer.
It's got to be up there.
well. So I like it when I have some basic knowledge, and I put this into practice each and every single day. And if I then lack of one command, I would just Google that, and this is okay then if I don't know one command. Just like so, happens. But I can put this into context. So just like having only a cheat sheet will not help you with that, because you need to put that into practice. So just like for everyone, choose an open source project that you would love to contribute to, and just do that. CLI is a great example. So for everyone who's only listening, Gary is rocking his PNP CLI Microsoft 365 hoodie, and was just like showing this very extensively. Your model.
You're going to need a new one that says maintainer on it now, aren't you? Anyway, moving on to the next bit of news. Al, I think this one is one for you to talk about. I know you used to love this.
What's taking certifications? Yes.
Chasing everyone else to take certifications.
Chasing everybody else. So certainly, when working in a partner, certifications are absolutely crucial. But I think one of the things that Microsoft have done to make it easier is to put a poster together that clearly shows what certifications there are and what exams there are, because exams and certifications, for those who aren't familiar with the way that they're measured, an exam, you might get a certification, but you might need to take more than one exam, and they do build up. So these certifications, they update this poster reasonably regularly. It's about once a quarter. And it clearly shows, based on the area of interest, so whether it's Azure, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, or Power Platform, what combinations of exams you need to actually get certifications. And they try and lay them out in a way that makes it quite simple to understand, which I think is probably the most clear it's been for many, many years as to what you actually need. And also, when you're interested in a particular area, what the other certifications are in that area. So it's a very useful guide to actually plan out, if you're setting out objectives for yourself to, stay in your current job, get a new job, it's a great way to actually lay out what your learning path is going to be. And it does start with those top four. So is your M365, D365 Power Platform, But then it does also have specialities. So there are now speciality certifications, most of which are on here. There are a few that aren't on there. And it's also got fundamentals, which is really, when you don't really know where your interest is going to be, take all the fundamentals exam and explore what's out there. And then it's got the security, compliance, and identity, which kind of spans across them all. So there's lots to choose from. And I know, based on the four of us on this call, we probably have different areas of certification that we're interested in, and we probably all approach these from a slightly different headspace of what are we doing them for, and what are we going to study. So it's quite interesting to see them all in one place.
I thought it was interesting in the post they seem to have moved away from the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star as a kind of big thing to talk about, and that kind of journey through is not quite so obvious in this, but I kind of like that. It's more about what the speciality is, not just getting your McDonald's stars on your...
I think they only call out the experts now, don't they?
Yeah.
It's only the expert certs that they call out.
Interesting.
So because the fundamentals are the 1-stars. Most of the associates, which is the majority of them, are 2-stars, and then the experts tend to be a combination of multiple exams and multiple certifications to get to the 3-star, or at least what was the 3-star certifications.
So it's that's right. So some of the 2-stars don't have any prerequisites, and the 3-star ones, the expert, generally have some prerequisites for it as well. You need to have done, I think it's one of the others, or depending on which one it is. But I think they've probably taken some of the detail out of this poster, but made it easier.
But what I totally love about this poster is that this is interactive. So each card that you see is a link, so you can click on these.
Yes.
And then the appropriate docs page will open in your browser and tell you just like more about the exam and what are the certification details and learning paths, so how you can prepare for that and so on.
And I love that
really
those learning paths have really come on in the last year to 2 years, that you can actually go through. And before you'd maybe not have to, but you almost had to go down the kind of going on a training course to cover all the different areas. Now they're really making it easy for you to find all those different paths and go through with this for free almost.
Yeah, I like how Microsoft Learn has kind of come on its own little journey alongside the journey of the certifications and the paths. I think it's really matured into so many different areas now. It's becoming that single place for your learning, for then your profile for your exams as well. Certainly with the renewals that are coming up. So we talked about it in the room. There's quite a few of us with the renewals coming up, but the renewal process goes through Microsoft Learn. And you can get ahead. So if you're not aware of it, and you've not linked your account, so the account that you would use to take your actual exam and your Microsoft Learn account as well, link them together, so then you can take your renewal without having to go through the full exam. So
long as you do it within the time frame.
Within the time frame, yes. Don't let it expire.
I think my one grumble with the exams as well is that the Microsoft 365 ones are really kind of platform heavy, lots of learning about Intune. It really stretches you. As someone who's come from the SharePoint world, it's like,
what's wrong with Intune?
Do SharePoint. I don't want to know about managing devices and stuff like that.
That's like doing
that's kind of the point, but
yeah, the Teams exam where you have to turn into a unified communications engineer halfway through, and you're like, hang on, where's the collaboration gone?
No one wants to do that. Hi to any unified comms fans who are listening, but no one wants to do that. What are you planning exams, Louise? Or?
Yeah, so next thing for me to tackle is the AZ204, which is the Azure Developer Associate. So I did the Microsoft 365 Developer Associate last year, and now this is the thing I want to cover. And what I learned is, so the learning paths are great, but just choose something that you will really build, just like not a tutorial, Don't stay in tutorial hell. Just like a real world existing thing, even if it's stupid, even if it looks ugly, but just like build stuff, because otherwise you will not really learn how to do this. So just like by reading or by watching someone else building something, get your hands dirty and build something and then put it on GitHub and succeed in that. So even if it's a tiny thing, but you need to build more apps if you want to.
I think that's really important, because a lot of the exams, whilst the learning paths are a great way to start, they give you the information that you need so that you can do that next step of actually practicing. And you're actually quite unlikely to pass an exam unless you've actually had a bit of that hands-on experience.
Yeah.
They don't completely feed you, do they? Was it? So in fact, I did the AZ204 a few weeks ago, my first ever Microsoft exam, slightly embarrassingly. But first ever, yep.
So you got to teach me.
All I'd say with that one is you think you've done really bad, and then somehow you pass. You're like, whoa, every time that. So every time.
That's just exams, isn't it?
Throwing a lot of common sense at it and going through. But yeah, it's quite a broad range of things on there. I know it's the developer associate, but it was very code heavy, a lot code heavier than I thought it was going to be.
It's got the word developer in it.
I was about to say. I'd be disappointed if it didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Not one of those Power Platform ones for citizen developers.
Yeah, but I think even if we do similar exams or even the same exams, everyone is just like coming from a different perspective and different background. And perhaps what feels easy for you is not easy for Gary necessarily, because he has a different background, and it's not easy for me. Or I find things just like more easy because I have some pre-experience with something which does not have everyone, or I can just like connect some other dots. So I think this is a challenge for everyone to pass an exam, but still I think, yes, reading the docs and doing these learning paths is a good start.
Part of it.
After that, you need to start building actually something.
And I think importantly, these exams, if you've not done them before, you need to actually take them to see what the questions are actually about and how they're phrasing them. And it's fine to fail them and take them again. There is no shame. So if you've only taken one, you're probably the only person, Kev, who can say that they haven't failed one of these exams, because I know I've certainly failed a lot of them.
So I need to admit that this MS 600 from last year, so I did this on Christmas to because I felt confident in passing this, so I did this on Christmas to give this to myself, and it worked. And this was shamefully my very first exam that I did, because I felt like I need to do this somehow. So I'm doing P&P, so I need to pass this exam just like somehow for my credibility. So I did this.
Sorry, Luise, 600 was your first exam?
Yes.
Oh wow! I thought you did.
So you've not failed one either. So I failed.
No, I succeeded in 100%.
Oh, excellent! Oh, I wish my record was that good.
I think the first one I did was SharePoint 2010. I think there's the admin and the developer certs for on-prem a long time ago.
Oh my God! Recently. So when we were all still on-prem, I was not working in tech. I joined this party only just like a few years ago, so I'm cloud only.
Cloud first. That's the way forward.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Let's try and get through. We're going to move on to our events and community side of things. And I wanted to call out a great blog post from Leon Armstrong, because we were talking about SharePoint syntax content assembly last week. And I have to admit, I was half hoping to get a bit of time to put a blog together, but that really wasn't happening with a family full of COVID. But Leon's done a great job, and we'll put this in the show notes are on there. It was interesting. He's called it content assembly, aka modern mail merge, which did put me off quite a bit because I hate mail merge. But he's got a point in there in terms of it. But he's gone through nicely and talked about how Work's got some lovely screenshots and things on there and how to create the templates. So well worth having a look at that blog post on there.
I mean, it is a bit more than mail merge, isn't it? That's quite a scary concept, mail merge.
Yeah, I don't like that idea whatsoever. I just have images of sticky labels getting stuck in the laser printer because someone's not put them down properly and then tangling everything up. But too many bad memories of that. Gary, there was some CLI news.
Yes, so we released CLI v4.4, so another month goes and another minor release. So if you're a SharePoint developer out there, you wanted to upgrade projects, CLI for Microsoft 365 is the tool that you want to use. So we're constantly updating the versions that you can actually upgrade your projects to. So the SharePoint Framework public previews, of which it's been done in the open, it's on GitHub, it's been released for you to test, so you can get ahead on the new features. So if you're doing Viva Connections development, those are the versions that you're wanting to upgrade your projects to. We now support those versions, so you can quickly run a single command. You'll get a report out the back of it, and you can run through your project and make the relevant updates, and done. You're upgraded. On that as well, we've got tons of new commands across everything. We've got lots of teams, so we're doing lots of Teams messages at the moment. We've got a new command, which is slightly different. It's not actually Microsoft 365 at all. It's have I been pwned? So you can now.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, if you've got an API
This is so
key,
great.
you can check if your account is in the database. So yeah, we are open to all ideas. If you find it's going to be useful, you want to run this in automations, then.
For anyone who hasn't heard about it, Have I Been Pawned is, I've suddenly forgotten his name. Hopefully one can remember quickly. But he's
Troy Hunt.
Troy Hunt.
Thank you. Has created a massive repository of any kind of data breaches and made them searchable, so you can go and see where your emails and details have been in there, and built APIs and all sorts of stuff around it, all for free, which is incredible.
Yeah,
really.
We're talking billions of records there, right, that you can check and search against. So we've included that. We've got more script samples as well that have been added. We have new contributors, which is fantastic. People obviously are getting to January and thinking, right, this is the year that I get involved in open source. It's been fantastic to see some new names and people really getting involved.
I just want to check. Veronica knows on the PnP PowerShell. She's not in there as a spy, is she? She's
no, we're open and we're transparent. There is no spying.
So I need to say this now. So this is an amazing project, and even if I do not need to do this every single day, so there's some. I use CLIs of every kind of type. So, but this is not my main focus. Still not. But this is an amazing project, and it clearly shows how to do open source, right? And it's so inclusive and so supportive, and everyone is just like so kind, and it's really joyful. And it's just like totally delighting to collaborate with this project. And so for everyone who wants to get into open source, that is a serious good project to do so.
Yeah. Or wants to get into
recommend
it. It's a great way to get started.
So it's just like super impressive that you release a new version every single month. So I know what this takes. I know what it takes to just like handle all of that, and this is just like super impressive. And I see this.
Once a month, and actually multiple times throughout the month. So we've got beta releases that are released every other day. If you want to see the amount of times that we actually release, follow the Twitter account. There's a lot of activity on there. So we don't just all roll it up at the end of the month. If you want to get involved and test out these new features before they even get fully released, then you can do as well.
Yeah.
Moving on to some of the events, Gary. Back to Gary again. You're getting all GitHubby and DevOpsy and bootcampy.
Yes, I guess no secret. I love GitHub and I love DevOps. So what better to actually talk about it?
Do you love shots as well?
Yeah, occasionally. Yeah, depending on what they are. But yes. So this is a 6-part series that. So there's internal Microsoft community, the DevOps Dojo community. So we have run this internally in Microsoft, 6-episode series covering DevOps end to end. And we have joined up with GitHub team to do this live on YouTube. It started Tuesday. So these are recorded. If you go to the Microsoft Dev Radio YouTube account, you'll see them there. We kicked off on the Tuesday. The second session was on the Thursday. So if you are interested in GitHub development, that is the session tomorrow, where we are going through and showing you all the awesome things in GitHub for improving your developer velocity. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
The range of things you've got going on there. So sort of talking about it as a project management, agile management tool as well, talking about development, talking about those actions and deployments, talking about security, which is fantastic, and how you manage secrets. You've got here inner sourcing. Do you mind sharing a little about what that is? Because I have heard about it now, but I hadn't when I first saw this.
Yeah, so I'm actually presenting in that session about inner sourcing. Not to give everything away,
that's surely to do with well-being, isn't it? Tapping into your inner source.
Exactly. Basically, it's bringing the best of open source into your organization, and how a different approach to community development within your organization can really help improve your processes. Yeah, exactly. All the improvements that you might want, I wish we did this or whatever, or new tooling. How do you get people energized within your organization, and how do you push that forward? We're going to talk about lots of things of how open source has really taken off, and how people come together and just build cool stuff, right? Why does it have to just be in the open? Why can't organizations do that as well? So we're going to be going through that. One thing I will mention, and this maybe you want to go back to the first session that we did, so that is an overview of GitHub. So that goes DevOps culture, GitHub Enterprise, but also I think a lot of people are probably interested in this, Azure DevOps and GitHub comparison as well. It's a big topic at the moment, and there's some great information that we shared on there about things that you might want to consider if you're in Azure DevOps and you may be thinking of moving to GitHub, and the balance that you need to strike at the moment, really. So definitely take a look at that as well.
I need to blame you a little bit for not telling me earlier. So I know it's recorded, but this is truly awesome. I like this very much. Definitely will give this a go. Thank you.
Yeah, I've definitely got these on my list to watch. We have some events coming up, and Louise, you're at an event in the UK, which is very exciting.
Yes, I'm so super excited. So I will be seeing people, not just like without this frame, so just like in person. Yeah, and not just like mesh, but just like real people. And I will be traveling, so I will just like be entering a plane again. Let's see if I still know how to do this and how to pack my suitcase. But yes, so CallUp Days Bletchley is coming up 23rd of February this year, and this is an amazing location. So for all the nerds and geeks among us that like to just like see some techie old stuff, this is truly awesome, and we have a pretty decent lineup. And of course,
the keynote speakers, Alan Turing's nephew, which is just incredible. I mean, that's what history to be able to speak. Brilliant.
Yeah. So and we have a pretty decent lineup. So this is cool as well. And of course, I'm looking forward to that a lot. and we'll be speaking as well.
A great lineup of speakers already. Yeah.
I'm very sad I can't make it. It's half term, and I'm still trying to work out if there's any way I can farm the kids off somewhere. But it's
Take them with you.
so
I was saying, throw them in the museum.
Get them started. Yeah.
I did. I have looked at bringing them along, but chickened out.
Oh wow! So I took my kids to conferences as well. So it's fine.
One of them's 4. That's the.
Yeah, well, so that is this age where you can just pass them a phone and they will be just like quiet for the next hour. I know this.
If only. I'm going to bring him along to your talk now, just for that. Then I'm going to get Chirag to babysit for the rest of the day. So job done.
Be my guest.
Does he know that?
No, not yet. And Louise, you've got another event coming up.
Yeah, another event is a European Power Platform Conference, which is the Power Platform sister of European SharePoint Conference. And this will take place April 6th to 8th and in Berlin. Truly amazing.
This is in person as well.
This is in person as well, and it's just like the who is who of Power Platform will be there, and of course we can expect great sessions and lots of connections and real world interaction, and pretty much looking forward to that. And I will be delivering one session just on my own and one session with a co-speaker Yannick.
Cool. I'm say I love these events. I've been to a few ESPCs and they're great events. The team really put on a show, so very well worth getting to. If you're
hope to see you
just before it. maybe I can take her to Berlin. That's the other idea. And then 3 of us are talking at Teams Nation. This was announced. Was it today? They announced the speakers thing, wasn't it? Yes.
Yes, they congratulated all speakers with a Twitter message. And,
then it was like, well, what session am I actually doing?
Yeah. So surprise, I don't know yet, but we will figure out. And I will be talking about adaptive cards.
Nice.
And Teams Nation has been an online conference before. We were doing online conferences. And they did it differently than all the other online events that were in-person events before and now needed to go to online only due to pandemic. And I really love this conference, and this will be a great experience. Although I need to say, usually I say I'm a little bit tired of online events, but that one is different.
Yeah. And they really build a kind of community feel about it. There's a lot of chat that goes on with this one. I think, Al, are you speaking and running one of the
productivity track I'm running, and the and speaking on the security track, I think. So yeah. Yeah, how to be compliant, how to manage your compliance.
Yeah, that's pointless. No joy with that.
It's a thrilling
and then the other
subject.
one is Scottish Summit has new dates confirmed, which I can attend. Yes. I'm very excited about. So 10th and 11th of June. Actually, we need to have a chat at some point, don't we? Because Happy Hour Etiquettes, I think, is down for that. So we need to find out who's still going to be there and things and organise that.
I've already booked my hotel and flights.
Fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Flights, yeah.
I did not dare to do this, so I feel like, so whenever it's just like more than 3 weeks in advance, it feels like I will need to rebook that at least once. So I didn't do this right now, but of course very much looking forward to this event, because it is just massive and everyone will be there, and of course great fun, and I assume there will be some whiskey involved as well.
Oh no, not at all. No, it's Glasgow. There's no alcohol at all.
No nice whiskey there at all. No, it should be a great event. So I think we'll wrap up there. Thank you very much, Louise, for joining us, and we look forward to lots more episodes with you coming with this. So
thank you.
You may be thinking, oh, we've hit the news, we haven't hit part 2. Yeah, we were thinking that as well. So we'll have a chat about that at some point as to when and where and if that will come out. But let's say it's be a little bit of a surprise for you when that appears. But otherwise, thank you very much and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.